That's fantastic.
And since we got our upper body, we got some pressing, we got some pull-ups, we want to make sure we get full motion.
Oh, sorry about that, excuse me. You have showers in here?
Showers? I think Will Smith needs to worry less about G.I. Jane and more about his G.I. tract. Someone please send that to Chris Rock right now. Welcome to Odd Man Sports, and in case you haven't already figured it out, I'm your host, Brandon Perna. I also have another show about football on YouTube called That's Good Sports, so make sure you subscribe here and there, or don't. I get paid the same either way. Now, we have a good episode today, and I don't always say that. What am I going to talk about? Well, we got Dan Snyder, and why he might end up with a horse head in his bed, how Tom Brady's Dolphins plan went sideways, and a guide to exactly what to do if you see Derek Carr approaching you in a taquería. Dinks and Dunks. Hey, the NBA playoffs are in full swing, not to mention the NBA award season. This year's Defensive Player of the Year? Marcus Smart, the first guard to win the award since Gary Payton in 1996. Meanwhile, in Game 2 of the Warriors-Nuggets series, GP's son, Gary Payton II, hit Nikola Jokic with a play that set off the Denver Center. The butt slap raised eyebrows around the league from those who recall Payton grabbing LeBron's crotch earlier in the season. The only play at this point? Lean in. They call Gary Payton the Glove, and considering the amount of dicks and butts GP2 is handling at work, maybe he should start calling himself the Latex Glove. In NFL news, Derek Carr made headlines, signing a 3-year, $121 million deal, ensuring that the Raiders QB will be under center in Josh McDaniels' new system. Another benefit for the ultra-religious Carr, the continued opportunity to use his NFL platform to spread the word of God in unlikely places. And by unlikely, I don't mean Las Vegas.
I've had the opportunity to preach the gospel to people in Chipotle's.
When you do good, that's God. When you sin, that's God. And when you blow out your O-ring in the Chipotle bathroom after a double meat and bean burrito, that's God too. Let the Lord cleanse you. Now, during a press conference last week, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones told the story about the time Nike owner Phil Knight came to a game with Monica Seles. Only Jerry got the tennis legend's name mixed up and instead said this.
Having Phil Knight come to the sideline with Monica Lewinsky, not Monica Lewinsky, but with a great tennis player at the time.
Whoops. On the bright side, this was way less costly than the time a couple years back when Jerry Jones tried to make a President Clinton blowjob joke, but instead signed Haha Clinton Dicks. Last week, a report came out that Tom Brady flirted with the idea of forcing his way to the Dolphins alongside Sean Payton. However, the Brian Flores lawsuit blew up the whole plan and forced Tampa Tom back to the Bucs. And while I'm sure Tom Brady was very disappointed, I've actually seen Dolphin flirtations end way worse. That's assault, Flipper. Speaking of sleeping with the fishes, a recent investigation into Dan Snyder's shady business practices was described by a U.S. representative, quote, like a description of some organization out of The Godfather. And if we're doing NFL Godfather references, I always think about the time Michael Corleone's Italian girlfriend predicted the days of the week we'd have NFL games in 2022.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, Saturday.
Golf Digest released a new show, Around with Tiger, and it came out this week. The series captures celebrities, including David Spade and Dwayne Wade, being given golf lessons by Tiger Woods. A pretty cool concept for sure, but considering the timing, I do have one note from the Jada Pinkett episode.
Hey, Jada.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
Someone takes this thing seriously.
Money? Well, it talks. It talks. The USFL kicked off last weekend with a good amount of fanfare. The opening game of the USFL season featured the Birmingham Stallions and the New Jersey Generals, which you probably remember is a rematch of the same game from opening day 1984. And what a difference 38 years makes. That matchup featured current right-wing Senate candidate Herschel Walker lined up in the Birmingham backfield and former Republican President Trump in the New Jersey owner's box. Not to mention another big-name player previewing a right-of-center push he'd make later on in his career.
Scott Norwood is the place kicker for Birmingham. High snap. Lane gets it down. Norwood's kick is no good.
So, how's the new USFL product? Surprisingly, not bad, with some room to grow. And if you missed it entirely, here's an analogy that might help. The NFL, it's like this photo of Dustin Johnson and his model wife, Paulina Gretzky, and their kid. And the USFL is more like this image of John Rahm with his family. Sure, the names aren't as famous, and the overall look isn't quite as good. But if you squint your eyes enough, you could trick yourself. Odd man out. Last week, Rob Gronkowski made news by appearing on Jimmy Kimmel and saying this about achieving contract incentives with the Buccaneers.
Have you seen that sort of stuff happen before where guys know they need one more to hit some performance bonus?
Yes, I've seen it before, actually. Not with the Patriots, though. I mean, they'll probably pull you before you hit that bonus there.
Yeah, right.
No, with the Bucs, I mean, no, they're down, for the players to collect all their money.
Gronk, if you remember, secured an extra milli on this unguardable 3-yard out. But it was another Bucs player, Milwaukee's Drew Holiday, who took things a step further to secure the bag.
This is a Cavs team, Marcus. That's the Cavs win the tip that haven't found as many W's since February 11th. And so Drew will check out.
Yeah, Drew intentionally fouled, gets credited for a game of service.
Yes.
Which I think will be
nice.
Well. Be nice for him.
It will serve him well.
Yes.
Contractually.
Yes.
By playing the first 8 seconds of the Bucs' final meaningless game, Holiday triggered a $306,000 bonus for minimum games played. This $300K, I'll remind you, is on top of the $365,000 per game he made this year on his $30 million a year contract, which includes full payment for the 15 games Drew did not play. Again, do I begrudge the players for clawing every last dollar that's available to them? No, not really. Though doing it in such a blatant manner in front of the home fans who paid to see you play is a little ick, if you ask me. But my bigger issue with this, why are teams financially rewarding individual achievements while also trying to preach the opposite? That winning and not stats is the only thing that matters. Don't the Buccaneers realize that having it in Antonio Brown's contract, that more catches equals more money, also makes the inverse true? That every time one of AB's teammates was targeted, he was going to feel like it was taking money out of his wallet? AB may seem dumb, but his ability to calculate money via mental math during a football game is some Goodwill Hunting level genius shit. Another problem with tying money to individual performance, it can actually backfire on performance by adding unnecessary pressure, which is what the Yankees found out when they included a bonus for A-Rod's milestone 600th homer, only to see him endure the longest homerless streak of his career at 599. If you want to incentivize winning, tie bonuses to team success like the Rams did with OBJ. Which leads me to this, my favorite story about contract incentives. Back in 2018, Yankees' CC Sabathia was in the middle of a one-hitter in his final start of the season. He was 2 innings shy of earning a $500,000 incentive-based bonus, and a beanball battle between the Yanks and the Rays broke out.
And that hit Bowers on the way by. Austin Romine leads off the 6th inning. And he gets low-bridged.
The ump warned that the next pitcher to throw at a batter would be ejected, leading to this.
Sucre leads off. And he hits him. And now CC just lost himself $500,000 as he's thrown out of the game. CC don't play.
Said Sabathia after the game in regards to sticking up for his teammates, just felt like it was the right thing to do. Respect, big fella, and as a token of my appreciation, I'll be starting a GoFundMe with the goal of raising for CC the $500,000 he missed out on. Because that kind of behavior should be incentivized. All right, that's it for today. And a reminder to head on over to thegameday.com for all of your NBA playoff wagers. Because if a game is played and you didn't bet on it, did it even happen? So see you next week for some NFL draft talk. Draft week, Odd Man Sports.
It's in the game.